Hi Flosstube, I'm Ashley in Stitches. Welcome to my first Flosstube video. Thank you so much for clicking on it and giving me a try. I love to cross stitch and that's why I'm here attempting my first video. It feels a little awkward talking to myself alone in my living room, but thought I'd give it a try because I love to cross stitch and I'm looking to connect with other stitchers more. I have been part of the Instagram stitching community as Ashley in Stitches for probably 6 or 7 years, and I've been watching Flosstube for about that long as well. I just love to cross stitch, and so I'm excited to give this a try. A little bit about me. I live in Northern California with my husband, our daughter, and my 2 dogs and 2 cats. And yeah, I've been watching Flosstube, like I said, for quite a while. I hesitate to name names of who I love to watch because I would hate to leave anybody out. But I love more recently like Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, Shiloh X Stitch MD, let's see, Mama Bear Stitchery, Frizzy Lizzy Stitches, and then there's some that I've just been watching for years and years, like Jessie Marie Does Stuff, Pam and Steph, Priscilla and Chelsea, Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts, and Evertote. And let's see, I made a little note for myself over here. I remember the first ever Flosstube that I stumbled on was actually Danielle at Stitcherista. I was looking for I guess something about that one of the first pieces I stitched on linen, which was this from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice. And she had stitched it and somehow came up in a search of mine and I was like, oh, Flosstube, this is pretty cool. And then just kind of down the rabbit hole from there. So this piece I stitched probably 7, maybe even 8 years ago. This is kind of awkward holding up my stitching. And this was just stitched on a piece of like 28 count linen, the kind you used to be able to get from Michaels. I think it was Charles Craft Brand. I don't even know if Michaels carries that anymore, but yeah, so this is going to be a bit of a WIP parade, just walk you through some of the stitching that I have going, and yeah, let's see if I have any notes for myself. Okay, yeah, you'll see, I made one more note, which is just a little bit that you'll see. I really like to stitch a little bit of everything. Blackbird Designs on Satsuma Street, Plum Street, Barbara Anna, Modern Folk Embroidery, Long Dog, Ink Circles, Frosted Pumpkin, Liz Matthews. Like I said, a little bit of everything. Behind me here, I can go through some of my previous finishes. Today is Tuesday, October 24th, 2023. We'll see when I actually get this posted. But since we're just about a week out from Halloween, I thought I'd share some of my Halloween stitching. So this here is Blackbird Designs, Away We Ride. I stitched that probably 5-6 years ago. This was, at the time I stitched it on a 32 count R&R weathered shingles with the called for threads. Now I would, if I was going to start this today, I'd probably start it on a 40 count. It is quite large, but I love it so much. I'm excited to have that finished up behind me. And then this here is Barbara Anna Design Black Cat Hollow. This was also stitched on a 32 count, and linen from Color and Cotton. I have been fortunately, I know I'm very lucky to be in the Color and Cotton Fabric Club. I've been in the club for basically since it started. So a lot of my stitching is on Color and Cotton linen. And yeah, I believe I stitched that when it was a SAL a number of years ago, where it was released in the 3 parts. And then this here is Boo by With Thy Needle and Thread, stitched on a 40 count linen. And then I just have a few other Halloween smalls here. So Halloween and fall are one of my bigger stitching categories, as you'll see in my WIP parade here. So this WIP parade is in no particular order. My WIP basket is a bit of a mess. You're probably gonna see 20-25 WIPs here, so hopefully we can get through this fairly quickly and I don't have to keep you, I don't keep you very long. And again, thank you so much for clicking on this video and giving me a try. So let's jump right in. Even though I just showed you tons of Halloween stitching, and I love to stitch Halloween, the first thing up is a Christmas piece, because just in the last couple days I've been kind of more ready for holiday stitching. So my first project here, let's see, I'm gonna give the this board a try. Okay, my first project is Snow Angel, a paper ornament by Satsuma Street. This is what the final piece will look like, and this is where I am right now. Most of that was done last night, so these move pretty quickly. Yeah, it'll be cute. My daughter, she's 2.5, and she really loves these, you know, shiny, pretty ornaments on the tree, and has already been, you know, very interested in this one and all the little beads in the bag. So I'm excited to get that finished and put up on our Christmas tree this year. Let's see. Next up, we have, I believe this is called All Hallows Eve by Hello from Liz Matthews. I have quite a bit of Hello from Liz Matthews, and I'm in her Patreon. This was not a Patreon chart, but just to give you an idea that I am a big fan of hers. So yeah, so I have stitched, you know, the first large pumpkin motif. Let me see if I have the chart handy. I do. We'll get better at this, I promise. Okay, so this is what it will look like when it's complete, and here's where I am. This is on a 40 count by Color and Cotton. I'm sorry, I don't have the name handy. Oh, yes I do. This is Beach Walk by Color and Cotton, which it is the called for color, called for linen. And I think it's perfect for the colors. So the reason I'm moving across working on the pumpkins and the pumpkin motifs is because I am not sure yet. So as charted, it says All Hallows Eve. Forgive me, this is a little, we'll get there. It says All Hallows Eve, but there is a conversion that many of you have probably seen by Georgia Girl Stitching, where she changes the wording to Autumn Harvest, I believe. And so I'm debating if I'm going to go with the autumn fall phrasing rather than the Halloween phrasing. And so for now, I'm just working on the pumpkin motifs. So I've got that one. Forgive me, I'll go as fast as I can. Okay, my next WIP is another Hello from Liz Matthews, and this is the Pumpkin House. This was just released this fall by her broadly, but I have this copy from last year's Kitten Stitcher Halloween box. So I actually got this started last year, but you wouldn't really know it because I don't have all that much progress to show. This is on, let me get that needle minder out of the way. This is again on a 40 count linen. Yeah, so just a little start there on the top half of the piece. I am planning to stitch it on the 2 different colors of linen and going to attempt to stitch them together. I love the blue that she used, but I did not quite have something that blue, so I went with more of a gray blue, again by Color and Cotton. Yeah, so obviously that's not going to be finished this year, but I'm very big on stitching what I want, when I want. I used to be very into WIP Go and doing all of the various, you know, sales and challenges, and since having my daughter a couple of years ago, I'm really a stitch what I want when I want kind of a stitcher, just because, you know, I have less time to stitch than I once did. So yeah, okay, my next piece, here is, gosh guys, this is, kudos to all the Flosstubers out there that I've been enjoying for years. This is a little, takes some getting used to. Okay, this is Who's There by Satsuma Street, stitched on a 32 count Color and Cotton. I think this was called Pumpkin Souffle, maybe? I would say it's a little more of a, that's pretty true to color. So yes, so here is where I am on this piece, and here is what it will look like when it's finished. So I'm not quite halfway, but I do have, you know, 2 of the owls done and a good chunk of the tree. So yeah, this is one, you know, I pull it out when it calls to me, and it gets a couple days at a time, usually when I'm needing a break from some 40 count stitching or looking for something really colorful, because that's what that is. Very colorful. Let's see. What is this? Okay. I don't have a cover photo to share with you on this one. This was stitching I did just in the last couple of weeks. So, this is a couple of Halloween ornaments I was working on. This one here is actually a finish, so here's a finished piece. This is Halloween Night, an ornament by the Prairie Schooler from one of the Halloween books, booklets that they do. So I stitched this. This is a 32 count Havana by Color and Cotton. And this next very tiny start is going to be Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery's Haunted Birdhouse. Just wanted a cute couple of Halloween ornaments. But like I said, I kind of lost my gusto for Halloween stitching in the last week or so. I've been ready for more holiday stitching. So I'll get back to that when I get back to that. But fun, and I love that Halloween Night piece by Prairie Schooler, and I can't wait to get that finished and have it hanging on a Halloween tree next year, hopefully. So to keep this bouncing around from all sorts of different kinds of stitching, the next thing I've pulled out here is my long dog. I am working on the long dog Ragnarok piece. Let's see. This is where I am on this. This is Ragnarok by Long Dog Samplers. I'm stitching mine on a 46 count antique white linen. I just really wanted the really nice coverage of the dark floss on the light colored linen, and I didn't want it to be super, super massive. It's quite a large piece, you know, like 290 by 300 or something like that. I'd have to look, but yeah. So I just so I started this around the time it came out, May, June of 2022. I'll do my best to tell you guys when I've started things, but I don't keep great records. But this I know I did start around the time it came out last year. And I just recently hit the bottom. This is going to be the very bottom border. So I'm done the first top half and then started into row 3. There's 4 rows of pages. And then I've now moved into the bottom row because this page here, let me show you what this is going to look like. That would be helpful. This page here that I haven't started on is this large oak tree roots maybe. And it is just, this whole page is just like straight, a lot of straight, not necessarily the most exciting stitching. So I'm saving it for, you know, those nights where I'm tired, I don't want to think a lot, and I just kind of stitch across and back and then across and back, and pretty easy stitching. So yeah, this is my long dog. I love it. It's definitely a departure from my very colorful Satsuma Street pieces. I love to have a little bit of everything on the go depending on my mood. Like I said, I've been more of a mood stitcher since having my daughter. So what do we have next? This really is like kind of like Christmas, sort of. I'm just pulling out whatever I pull, and it's a surprise each time. This is my next piece here is Goody Grimwood by Color and Cotton. Nope, not by Color and Cotton. I'm stitching it on a 40 count Color and Cotton linen. This is by Plum Street Samplers. Goody Grimwood by Plum Street Samplers. Let's see. There we go. And try to get up close and do more of this. I hope you're sticking with me. I'm sorry that I haven't been doing the best at showing my stitching up close, but yes, this is a 40 count Color and Cotton linen, kind of a purplish gray. Don't remember the name. I love this bird, this really pretty bird. And there will eventually, when I get to it, I love this moon motif here, the pretty big orange flowers, the nice big pumpkins down here. I love this piece. I can't wait to get it finished at some point. I won't be this year because I'm definitely in Christmas holiday mode. But yeah, I love that piece. What do we have next? Another Plum Street sampler. This next piece is Friends of the Heart by Plum Street Samplers. I do not have a very big start on this. I know that for sure. But Stitch what you want, when you want, what's calling to you. Move this needle minder out of the way. Okay. Here is my start on Friends of the Heart by Plum Street Samplers. I'm stitching this on the called for linen, which is a picture this plus, I want to say it's Wren or Legacy. And I'm stitching on a 40 count just because that's typically my preferred linen. I'm sure the designer used probably a 36, and I'm using the called for threads. So yeah, here is my Friends of the Heart. I will get back to that hopefully soon. I'm going to say that about everything. All right. My next WIP is Prim Pumpkin by Artful Offerings. I started this, gosh, just a month or two ago. We were going on a very long car trip, and I wanted a piece where I could just do mindless fill-in. This is a 40 count scrap of mystery linen. I did all the black pumpkin outlining before we left for the trip, and then I did the orange, fill-in the car. The thread I'm using for the orange is not the called for. It is Pumpkin Spice by Color and Cotton, which I want to say was in the August 2023 Thread Club this year. So yeah, there's Prim Pumpkin by Artful Offerings. There's definitely some personalizations in the outline of the pumpkin, but thankfully it's kind of like a prim wonky piece, so you won't really be able to tell, hopefully, in the end. What do we have next? All of the Halloween. This is very out of order. I'm just pulling these out at random, but I do stitch a lot of fall and Halloween, which I guess works for right now. So this next piece is a frosted pumpkin stitchery piece, have a possum Halloween, and this is embarrassingly 95% done. And the reason it's not fully finished is, or completely finished with the stitching, is because I realized I had a small error and I was just kind of over it at that point, didn't really want to rip a bunch of stitching out. So you can kind of tell there is an extra stitch here. So on this side, you can see there's just one extra green stitch past the white fishbone. Here there's two. And so I'm kind of figuring out how am I going to fix that without ripping out all of that stitching. I could snip all the end, but then I'd have to deal with the loose threads in the back. So I just put it away. But other than that, fixing that error, I really just need to do a few more straight border orange pieces here and here. This is nearly finished. This was in maybe the 2020 or 2019 Just Cross Stitch Halloween ornament issue. And this is stitched on a 32 count Color and Cotton purple it's something like Dried Violets or something along those lines, that was in a Fabric of the Month Club, probably from last year around this time. Okay. Next we have a more recent holiday start. This is Heart and Hands, Wee Santa 2022. And this has just like a night and a half maybe of stitching on it. I'm stitching mostly with the called for threads, what I had in stash, which is Color and Cottons, and then anything I didn't have, I just used the DMC alternate. Yeah, this is stitched on a 32 count Color and Cotton. This I know is Sampler Gold, and I haven't been saying, this is 32 count linens are what I'm stitching on. I love the feel of linen, and that is what I'm stitching with the vast majority of the time, typically 32 or 40 count. So yeah, I love this piece. I love the pink Santa. I'm excited to get that finished, probably just into maybe like a little pillow. Okay. Next we have, again, I don't have a cover photo for this, but we have a Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, I Love Fall Most of All. This is stitched on a 40 count. I wanted to just make it a cute tiny pillow. A 40 count raw linen, Zweigart raw. And I'm using the called for threads. This really pretty variegation in here is Fallen Leaves by Classic Colorworks. Super cute. Part of the reason it's not done is because I lost my my stitching. You know, I lost the pattern. I own it as a PDF. I just need to reprint it and get it finished. Okay, next is, I don't think I have a great cover photo for this. It's from a French designer on Etsy. And this is also not a color photo, but that is kind of works because the background here is a gray linen, and then it's all white stitching. All of this is just white stitching, and then you do a little bit of yellow for the moon, and then black or dark gray, maybe 3799 for the Santa in the sky. I know I did not get a huge start on this last year, but I just think it's a pretty piece, and I can't wait to have it finished one of these holidays, one of these years for the holidays. That's where I am. Just abandoned it. Said I'm done with this for now. But yeah, this is a 40 count linen. I believe this is Zweigart anthracite, 40 count anthracite linen in a nice dark gray with Blanc. I don't think it's B50 or 200. I believe it is Blanc. Okay. Wow. Kudos to all the Flosstubers. This is a lot of work going through your WIPs, and I have a big messy pile next to me. My next WIP here, I do have a cover photo for this one. This is Modern Folk Embroidery, Mr. Bones in the Garden. Cover photo here. And here is where I am on this one. Classic me, abandoned it with a thread and the needle still in it. When I was done, I was done. I think it just I probably gave up on it, or no, I didn't give up on it. I will be finishing this. I probably decided I was done with this at the time last year because, you know, it is a little fiddly, a lot of counting and all of that, but ooh, sorry guys. Thank you for sticking with me if you're still here. I know I'm stitching with this on this is a 40 count color and cotton. I don't remember the linen name, but it's a nice, you know, slightly green toned gold. And I'm using a Silks for You. They're alternate to DMC 3799. So it's a nice silk. I had originally bought that color for my Ragnarok and then decided I preferred a solid DMC instead of dealing with variegation. I just enjoyed the piece as a solid piece. Yeah, so I'm using it in this Mr. Bones piece. Can't wait to get him finished at some point. Okay. Next is another piece I don't have a cover for, but it's a piece for St. Patrick's Day. I think it will ultimately say luck and clover and green all over. Gosh, most of the way through this one, I believe. Using the called for threads. Very pretty. I love the color of this linen. It's sort of a pinky neutral by Color and Cotton, 32 count linen. Yeah, hopefully I'll get that finished for next spring, next St. Patrick's Day. The next WIP here, don't have a cover photo for, but it's one where you're gonna actually get to see a couple finished pieces. This is a Christmas ornament trio from Stitchrovia. I'm stitching it 2/2 on 36 count antique white linen by Zweigart. And this was entirely inspired by Cindy C Stitches on Instagram. She stitched this trio like this, and I really love the 2/2 on 36 count for these bold Stitchrovia pieces. There's Have a Merry Merry Christmas and 'Tis the Season to Be Jolly. There's a third one that I just need to knock out, and then I can hopefully get these fully finished for Christmas this year. All right, guys, we're getting there. I think we are more than halfway through now. You know how long this video is. I don't yet. Okay. And again, bouncing around through all the seasons here. Now we are on to summer. This is a Plum Street sampler. Tomato Dame. I got this when it was I'm not sure if this has been broadly released yet, but I got this as a Dying to Stitch exclusive a few years ago. But it's most of the way done. I don't know why I haven't fully finished it. I mean, it is most of the way done. I have a few leaves, tomatoes, and the dress to fill in, and then we're about there. I don't know why I haven't finished that. We were very into our summer garden this year, so it would have been fun to have it stitched up for that, but next summer. Okay, back to Halloween. I'm having holiday whiplash, sorry. Next piece that I'm going to share is House Guests by Satsuma Street. And this is one that, oh my gosh, again, I mean, most of the way there. Not a ton left to do. Mostly the ground, it looks like. I know that the reason I put this one away is I had a couple miscounts, had to rip out some stitches, and I was just, you know, didn't need that in my life at that time, so I moved on to one of my many other Halloween WIPs. But yes, love these pieces. Hoping this year I don't have like a Halloween tree, but I'm hoping next year to have a Halloween tree because I have a number of little Halloween ornament pieces. My next project here is a Satsuma Street. This is going to be Garden Party. I did not stitch this when it was a sal a few years ago. I just started this in the spring of this year. I had my own little mini Stitch Mania. Stitch Mania was huge when I was getting into the cross-stitching community online, and I still, May does not feel right without a bunch of new starts to me. So I did go ahead and start this. It's just a small start, kind of looks a little, maybe even creepy at this point, but I love the pinks, oranges, purples in this piece and can't wait to have it fully finished. Oh, this is a 32 count flax, probably. I believe this is flax. Yeah, flax by 32 count linen flax. Okay. Next up is a frosted pumpkin stitchery piece. I don't have a cover for this because I was participating in this when it was a sal. I want to say this was 2019, 2020 time. This was probably 2020. So this is probably the 2020 stitch along. Or maybe it was 2010. I'm sorry, guys. I don't quite remember. But anyway, this was, the pattern is called Animal Almanac. And I got the first 4 months done and then, you know, the borders for the next couple of months, but I didn't finish it, and have not been back to it since, but I think it's cute. The animals are adorable. This is the, you know, with my daughter running around, she really loves, like, you know, looking at mommy's cross stitch, especially the cutesy pieces. So I'll get back to this at some point, but it has not called to me in a while. I'm stitching that on whatever the called for linen was. I probably had the kit from Frosted Pumpkin. Would have been most likely that looks like a 28 count, maybe Heritage from Picture This Plus. Okay, next we are back to Halloween. This is a Lizzie Kate ABC Halloween. And I think my husband got me this for Christmas last year, so I started this somewhat recently. It's just a small start. This was like a night of stitching, I think, and then I had moved on to something else. Stitching it with the called for threads on, I believe this is the called for linen, say 32 count. Yes, 32 count dirty linen by Zweigart. Just a small start. I will get back to this. It did not call to me this year. This one, that's why I put it down. The chart is pretty small. It just takes a little more, like, you know, squinting at it for me at night, which is typically when I get to stitch now at night after my daughter has gone to bed. So yeah, I will get back to that. Wow, Halloween, summer, Halloween, summer. We are back to summer again. This is a Plum Street Samplers piece. I'm stitching this on a 40 count color and cotton. I love this blue, and I have it all, this whole nice piece stuck in this WIP. So hopefully I can get this finished soon. This is the hen peck. We love chickens. I started this a few years ago, probably 4 years ago now. So I need to just finish that. It just has not called to me recently. But yeah, we love chickens. We almost got chickens earlier this year, and our older dog ended up passing away, and we adopted a puppy for all of us to enjoy it. We have another dog, and she needed a buddy. So we did the puppy route, but at some point we'd love to get some chickens. Okay, my next WIP here, I do not have the cover for it, but wow, this is huge. Oops, sorry, I hit the camera. Okay. This is this past summer, the 2023 Satsuma Street Sal. It's called the 4 Elements Sal. I mean, that wasn't really doing anything. This is the 4 Elements Sal. I have done, as you can see, 3 of the 4 elements. There is a ton of stitching in this. This is probably one of my bigger WIPs right now, besides my long dog. I kept up with it even, which is crazy to say, because I want to say each section was 6,000 stitches. And I was able to keep up. The pieces came out every 2 or 3 weeks. And then I did not love the 4th piece, and at that point the 4th element, the design for fire, is very pretty, but there is a face in the sun, and that's not my personal taste, so I'm coming up with what I would prefer to do. And you know, then at that point I was getting into Halloween stitching. This was around August. So yes, this is where I am. I will get back to it. I will finish it. I just have to decide how I want to do the 4th element. I'm stitching with the called for, this is Cosmo threads. They are very nice to stitch with. Yeah, on a 32 count, no, this is 28, on a 28 count black cashel linen. Yeah. Okay, what do we have next? Okay, I don't have a cover for this, but this is a kind of a, what would you call this? A blueprint of the Saturn V rocket. I started this a number of years ago. I need to just get it finished. It's all backstitch, all straight stitching, back stitching, and it just gets really fiddly in the center here with some of the rocket pieces. Did not really realize that when I started it. This is a gift. At some point it will be for my husband, and I'm stitching this on a 32 count blue spruce Swigart linen. And this was featured in a what is the name of this? It's a Lord Libidan piece, and it was in one of the cross-stitching magazines. I cannot remember the name right now. Okay, guys, we're getting there. Next up, we have Luminous Fiber Arts, Gathering Stitches. This came out at Market this year, 2023 Market. And I had a pre-order with Abby Top Knot Stitcher. Thank you, Abby, for my market haul this year. And here is my little start. I'm stitching this with silk. The Misty the designer calls for a silk. It is a classic colorwork silk, I believe. I don't have the exact color that the designer called for. So I used another color that I love, this pretty like pinkish red strawberry shortcake. And it's so nice to stitch with. Everybody says that when they have a silk piece, but it is true. It is so nice to stitch with. And I can't wait to get back to that. It feels like obviously more of a springy piece to me, so I will probably get back to that in the spring. I'm one of those people that I love to stitch with the season that I'm in, which is why I have so many lingering holiday pieces. I like to stitch with the season that I'm in. It's one of the ways that I celebrate being in whatever season we're in. My next piece here is an Ink Circles from her Patreon. I'm also in Tracy's Patreon. And this is a Patreon exclusive. If you join her Patreon now, you can still get this piece. She does leave up the past patterns. So this is, I think it's called Sunflower Biscornu. I have a decent start here. I just need to work on the 4 corners. And that's on a 32 count blue hand-dyed linen. I don't think that's a color and cotton. I'm not sure who the dyer is on this one. Maybe Extra Designs. I have a number of things on her linens. Okay, we are getting down to the last few WIPs, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. My next piece was a start this year. This is Blackbird Designs, Oh Joyous Day. You know what? I started this in August for my wedding anniversary. And it's just a teeny tiny start, but it is a start. I want to say that I stitched this on August 19th, which was my anniversary, and probably only on August 19th. I will get back to it. I love this piece, and I've been meaning to start it for years and years, and I think I was just thrilled to finally get to start it. You know what? It's such a that's right. It is such a tiny start because we were very busy at that time. This was the middle of August. We had a last, squeeze in summer trip, and then my daughter was starting preschool for the first time a few days later. So that is why that is such a baby start. But I will get back to it. I think it's such a beautiful piece. And I've been excited to start it for a while. This next one is a Little House Needleworks 4 Seasons. This was one of my mania starts for my personal little mania this year. Gosh, look at me leaving everything just, there we go. All right. There we go. Tiny little start. It looks so little. This is on a 40 count vintage country mocha linen. Little tiny start. I love the tiny stitches of 40 count. I think they're super sweet. And I love the coverage of 40 count personally. Working with one thread is so nice, but you still get some decent coverage on the 40 count. Okay, next we have another Blackbird Designs. This is Feliz Navidad. And I started this a few years ago. Oh, I have, looks like, okay. Here we go. This is Feliz Navidad by Blackbird Designs on a 40 count Picture This Plus Legacy. So the more kind of green toned neutral that they do. And I just have, the border is done, so that's something, and I need to go ahead and obviously fill it in. I am stitching this with the called for threads. Yeah, I love the colors in this, and I can't wait to have it done. Like the pops of teal are so pretty. Yeah, love this one. Can't wait to get back to it. I'm sure I will be stitching on this this holiday season. Okay. Last few WIPs, guys. All right. Holiday whiplash again. We're back to spring. I don't have a cover piece for this, but this is Satsuma Street Sweet Spring. Yeah. I worked on this a lot this past spring, earlier this year. Super cute. Don't know why I haven't gotten further on this, but sweet. I stitch on the spring. I'll stitch on it again this coming spring, and hopefully I'll get it done then. This is stitched on an Extra Design blue linen. The sun is, it's been a very foggy morning here, and the sun is starting to come out now, so it might change the lighting a little. But yeah, this is, the lighting is not doing this blue linen any justice. It's a very pretty blue. Yeah, it's a 32 count linen. I have the companion piece, which is like a goose in a basket. That one is stitched on a pink linen, so I have a pink Extra Design for that piece whenever I get to it. All right, we are down to the last couple of pieces here. This is a Lizzie Kate Things Unseen. This was a mystery sale a number of years ago, and then it was, once it was all released a couple years after that, Stephanie from Pam and Steph hosted a sale this was probably 6 or 7 years ago, guys. So I started this quite a while ago, and it is still a WIP. But yeah, Things Unseen, very pretty piece, super sweet. It says, it's a Helen Keller quote, "The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart." And especially now that I have a daughter, I'd really love to get this finished. And I want to say let's see. Yes, I have a very good start on this. I should finish this soon. This is, again, a piece that feels like spring to me, so I'll pull it back out in the spring. The original is stitched on either a 28 or 32 count linen. I'm stitching mine on a 40 count, so I won't be using the buttons. I'm just using just all stitching instead. Yeah, but here we go. I've got all the words in on the top. I'm definitely moving into at least page 2, if not page 3 of this pattern. Yeah, cute. I'm not stitching this with the called for linens or called for threads. Stephanie did a conversion. It was originally designed in a Weeks Dye Works, and she converted to Classic Colorworks, which I love Classic Colorworks. My favorite threads to stitch with are Classic Colorworks, Color and Cotton. I'm in the thread club as well. And DMC, good old DMC I love. And of course some silk when I can. So anyway, this again is my Things Unseen. It was, if anybody is still out there doing the sal, it was, I believe it was hashtag Things Unseen sal. And I've got to get this back out and start working on it again. If you did that sal or are still doing that sal, let me know in the comments below. I should have said that earlier, but yeah, I'd love to know if you guys are stitching any of these pieces as well, or plan to, anything like that. Share your stitching with me. That's my whole goal of starting a Flosstube, is just to be connecting with other stitchers as another way of talking about stitching. Okay guys, we are in, let me double check. Yes, we are on the last WIP of the WIP parade. And it is a holiday piece, which is very fitting. This is a Prairie Schooler. Where is my original pattern? I probably have it tucked away. What is this called? Yes, this is Evergreen by Prairie Schooler. I can't believe I don't know where my original went. Oh, just kidding. It's because I am using the original. Evergreen by Prairie Schooler. It's originally stitched on a, some sort of a brown linen. I am choosing to stitch mine on a green. This is a Color and Cotton 32 count, kind of a wintry green linen. I have the first little block done. And I'm going to move on next. I started this earlier this year. This was one of my mini personal mania starts. I'm going to move on to the pea stuff here. And then I have not decided yet, as charted by the designer, all of these elements are this same red. I may switch the animals to more of a brown. I've seen some people do that. So I'm not totally sure about, Santa red is the same as squirrel red. So I need to decide what I'm going to do, but I have plenty of time to decide on other elements I can work on before I make that choice. So that's my WIP parade, guys. Thank you for sticking with me if you made it this far. What else is there to talk about before I wrap this up? Just some plans. I am signed up for the Jingle Ball. So I have, I'm signed up for the Jingle Ball. There's 2 classes I was able to get into. I was like 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I was online and signing up for that when ticket sales opened a couple Fridays ago. So I'm doing 2 classes. Liz Matthews, her Christmas design, her Christmas tree shaped design. I wish I brought that pattern over here with me, but it's Santa's Night Christmas tree. I will be doing that class, and then I will be doing Janine McGowan, the Blue Flowers Biscornu piece. I'm excited to stitch both of those. The elements have started to come in. I got the kit from Liz, and I had to order the linen, which is on its way, and then the design from the PDF from Janine McGowan. I did not get that kit. I just got the PDF, and that I think will be in our inboxes soon. So I can get started on both of those. And I have a birthday coming up next week, so this coming weekend, so I will be doing a birthday start. I'm deciding between two pieces. One is a mandala by Shannon Christine Designs, and the other is an ink circles piece, The Forest for the Trees, which was a Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit design that I was not able to attend. That I have not been to a retreat yet, despite all of my years of loving stitching. It just hasn't quite worked out. So they had extras after the retreat, and I was able to order one, and I think that will probably be my birthday start. It's a very pretty piece, lots of pinks and greens, pops of pink red with lots of green. I wish I had brought those over here, but I was so focused on the WIP element of this video. So I will share those next time. If anybody watches this and wants to watch another one of my Flosstubes. So let's see. Yeah, those are my WIP parade, my plans. I'm looking at my notes here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It wasn't the smoothest, but I got through it. If you got this far, you got through it with me. Thank you so much. I would really love if you did watch it, if you leave a comment below just to let me know you watched it. Like I said, my goal here is really to connect with other stitchers, make some stitchy friends, get to talk about stitching more with people who really get it. Yeah, thank you for watching.